The program rule says that each program year, 90% of the initial tenants, so 90% of the people reported on the completion report, the first tenant to move in to a property, 90% of the first tenants need to be at or below 60% of the area median income. This is across the entire portfolio of projects that are leasing up in that year. So PJs are like, how do I manage that? If I let this project do 80 and this project do 100, it becomes really hard. So what most PJs do as a matter of practice is simply say to all of their owners, you will rent the first unit every time to somebody at 60% of the area median income and below. And now the program rule is going to take care of itself, because all of those projects that roll up together have to collectively satisfy the program rule. The other challenge is based on the completion, and sometimes even if I sort of said every project I fund this year I'm going to let do 90% at 60 and 10% up to the 80, well, if they don't all complete in the same year, then I can get out of whack again. And so PJs just tend to say all of it. They also often will restrict those units to 60% for the duration of the affordability period, just for policy reasons, right? Because when we're focusing on rental housing, we tend to be focusing on a slightly lower tranche of the overall income eligibility band, because that's where there's more need. The lower you go in the spectrum, the more need there is for rental, right? The other reason that often PJs will go ahead and require that the 60% be done for the affordability period is, particularly if we know we're putting it into a tax credit transaction, they're going to restrict to 60% anyway, so it's just easier to try to align the restrictions, okay? But it is permissible within home to have what we call high home units go up to 80% of the area median income. If you're doing small scale rental projects, I'm going to do a fourplex, I'm going to do a 10-unit deal, this other thing, particularly some of you in very rural areas, right, where you don't have the market to go in and build a 50-unit complex. Often PJs there will still say, I want the first tenant to be at 60% so I can manage the program rule, but once the units turn over, we'll let you go to the full 80, because it then expands the market and it improves the viability of the project over time.